Hey Nash, Thanksgiving's tomorrow. We've already made a bunch of turkeys. What else should we make?
We need some sides to go with the turkey. Let's make Chipotle Sweet Potato Mash, maple bacon Brussels sprouts, pumpkin mac and cheese, and some Chorizo Cornbread Stuffing.
Well, that's very specific, but all right, let's make your 4 favorite sides. It's almost Thanksgiving. We've made turkey 3 different ways, but what goes with turkey? We need some sides. So today, we're gonna make 4 sides. We're gonna make a Chipotle Sweet Potato Mash, a pumpkin mac and cheese, maple bacon Brussels sprouts, and a cornbread chorizo stuffing. So hey, without further ado, let's go. So we're gonna start with our Chipotle Sweet Potato Mash. So we start with sweet potatoes. I have 2 large sweet potatoes. Obviously, depending on how much you're trying to make and how many people you're trying to feed, you could adjust this recipe to 1 or 10, whatever. So first thing we do is go ahead and just peel these potatoes. Now I'm just gonna cut each of these in probably thirds. And then into a large pot with water in it. Just go ahead and put your pieces in there. And we're just gonna boil these guys until they're fork tender. Boil, simmer. You don't really want a full rolling boil, but the lower the heat, the longer it'll take. So once your sweet potatoes are fork tender, we're just gonna go ahead and mash them, smash them, whatever you wanna call it. Now, how much you smash or mash them is up to you. If you want kind of chunky mashed potatoes or like super smooth. I'm not a huge fan of the super smooth, so that's about as much as we're gonna do. Then we're gonna add in about 4 tablespoons or a half a stick of butter. A little bit of salt, pepper, garlic. We want to dice a few of these chipotle peppers in adobo sauce. How many is up to you. Throw these in there. Fold them in. And there we go. This is done. Chipotle mashed sweet potatoes. You can set this aside. Now for our maple bacon Brussels sprouts, first thing we do is chop up some bacon. And you can just leave a pound of bacon, just keep it like this and just cut it into strips like this. It'll separate as it cooks. Let me go ahead and put this bacon into a cold pan. Cold pan, if you're new to the channel, we always put bacon in a cold pan because if it heats up slowly like that, it helps the fat render better instead of just burning it and cooking it. So then we turn the heat up to medium high. Spread all this out a little bit. And we let it cook. While our bacon's cooking, we can go ahead and prep our Brussels sprouts. So all we're gonna do with these guys is just cut them in half. Once your bacon is cooked, take some sort of a slotted spoon, slotted spatula, whatever, and remove it and put it in a paper towel covered bowl or plate. And with your heat on medium, leave that bacon grease in, pour your Brussels sprouts in there. Stir them around to make sure they're all coated in bacon grease. And then let the Brussels sprouts cook for 6 to 8 minutes without touching them. Don't stir them, don't whatever. Once they're all coated with bacon grease, so we'll give it one more stir, make sure everything's coated, try to even them out so everything's getting kind of the same amount of heat, and then just let them go for 6 to 8 minutes. So after 6 to 8 minutes, give these guys a stir. See, they're starting to caramelize. That's exactly what you want. If you see any really white ones, just sort of turn them over. Now we add a pinch of salt, just a little bit of cayenne, give them another stir. And again, if you see any really green tops or any white bottoms, just turn them over. Once your Brussels sprouts are getting nice and caramelized, when we kill the heat, add a half a cup of unsweetened dried cranberries, a 1/4 cup apple juice, and a 1/4 cup maple syrup. Stir to coat, and then cook for about 3 minutes. Once everything's coated, stir to coat once again. And we add our bacon back in, stir that all in. Kill the heat, transfer to a dish, and our maple bacon Brussels sprouts are ready to serve. To a non-skillet pan, we add 2 tablespoons of butter. Once that's melted, we add a teaspoon of, maybe 2 teaspoons. Minced garlic, grated garlic, whatever you prefer. And we add half a cup of panko breadcrumbs. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And we just toast that till just barely golden brown. As soon as we get there, transfer this to a bowl of some sort. Let that cool. And we stir in a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, grated, shredded, whatever. Set that aside. In a large stock pot, or whatever large pot you got, bring 4 to 6 quarts of water to a boil. We're starting on our pumpkin mac and cheese. Then you want to make this nice and salty like the ocean, or your mother-in-law. Then we're gonna add in a pound of the pasta of your choice. You could use shells. I'm using Celentani, which are these little spiral guys. But you could use pretty much anything you want, or good old-fashioned macaroni elbows. So we'll dump that in. This says 11 minutes to al dente, so we're gonna cook it 1 minute shy, so 10 minutes. You could either use the same pot if you've already drained your pasta, or if you're trying to multitask, use a different pot. So we're going to just use this pot and melt a half a stick of butter. Now to this, we want to add half of an onion diced, but because of Nash, I'm going to use jalapenos instead, so definitely will change the profile, but you probably should use an onion. And you just want to cook this until your onion is softened and starting to get translucent. A few minutes. Once your onion starts to get translucent, add in a few cloves of minced or crushed or grated garlic. Just stir that in until the garlic starts to become fragrant. It's about 30-45 seconds. Then we whisk in 2 tablespoons of flour, teaspoon of dry ground mustard, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Just whisk this in. We're kind of creating a modified roux at this point. You just want to stir it till that raw flour smell kind of disappears. And make sure there's no clumps of flour. Then we want to gradually whisk in about 2 cups of milk. Then we want to whisk in 15 ounces of pumpkin puree. So you want to check, if you're using the canned stuff, check the can, because some of them are 30 or 29 ounces and some of them are 15 ounces. So it could be a whole can or it could be half a can. You want to just whisk this until it's all nice and smooth and pretty darn thick. Once that's nice and thick, then we can go ahead and add in our cheese. I have some Gruyere and some Gouda. So we kill the heat, stir in our cheese a little bit at a time until it's all melted. And we're gonna transfer this to a large bowl. Look at that, it's like fondue. And we add our noodles. And then we just try and coat all the noodles here. We could have done this in the same pot you were using, except I chose a pot that wasn't big enough. Once everything's coated, we're gonna transfer this to a greased casserole dish. Now we have a mixture of toasted panko breadcrumbs and parm. Now we're gonna throw this in a 350 oven for about 15 minutes, just to make sure everything's warmed through, and then probably under the broiler for another 2 or 3 minutes, just to get the panko and the parm nice and toasty on top. And this is what our guy looks like right out of the oven. So it's gonna be piping hot, but let's go ahead and nice and cheesy, ooey gooey, like that. Okay, for our cornbread chorizo stuffing, first thing we need to do is chop some veggies. So first we dice some celery. Then we're gonna dice some poblano peppers, and you can do these 2 ways. You can either dice them raw, like I'm about to do, or you can roast them until the skin kind of turns black, and you can peel it off and just dice that. It's your call. And then you would dice one white or yellow onion, but I'm gonna leave that out because of Nash. Then in a skillet over medium heat, we melt half a stick of butter. Once our butter's melted, then we throw in all of our veggies. And we'll cook these until the veggies are softened. And if you're using onions, when your onion's translucent, that's a pretty good indicator that you're good to go. Once our veggies have softened, make a little landing spot in the middle. We add some minced garlic. Let that go till it's fragrant, about 45 seconds. We stir that in. And we add in about a pound of chorizo. We'll try to break that up. Good luck with that. Once your chorizo is nice and cooked, we're gonna transfer this to a bowl. Then to our bowl, you can either cube it or crumble it. I'm just gonna crumble it. This is some cornbread I made a couple of days ago. Just wanna break up all the big pieces here. And we also have some herbs. This is some diced parsley, sage, and some thyme. Just gonna do a pinch of salt, some black pepper, and then we're gonna crack a few eggs. We're just making a mess. All right, now we transfer this to a greased casserole dish. Perfect. Now we throw this in our oven at 350 for, let's try 30 minutes to start. And there we have our Thanksgiving sides. Time for a bite. All right, let's start with the sweet potato mash, Chipotle sweet potato mash. Cheers. I need to hold on to this. I need it for like 3 more things. It's good. It's definitely got a little bit of that Chipotle kick, but it's rich, it's creamy, it's sweet, but not overly sweetened. I'm not a big fan of the sweet potato dishes that have like extra brown. I mean, if you're into that, cool, but not my thing. Anyways, I think it's freaking delicious. 10 out of 10. Now let's try these Brussels sprouts here. Maple bacon Brussels sprouts. Cheers. The Brussels sprouts are crispy, but also soft. That bacon adds a nice touch. It's a great mixture of savory, sweet. It nails Brussels sprouts. And if you like savory and sweet and bacony and rich and delicious, this is an awesome way to cook Brussels sprouts. All right, let's try this mac and cheese here. Pumpkin mac and cheese. Cheers. I mean, that's fantastic. The pumpkin just adds something, but it doesn't taste like pumpkin. The Gouda and the Gruyere are perfect. It's perfectly melty with a little bit of that crunch from the breadcrumbs. So you get a nice mixture of textures there. I mean, it's a fantastic mac and cheese. So if you want to do mac and cheese, this is the right way to do it. All right, let's try this. Let's try this cornbread chorizo stuffing. Cheers. Again, with the cornbread, the chorizo, you get that extra richness, a little bit of spice from the peppers, but not too much. Again, with that savory and sweet mixture, it's a freaking delicious stuffing. If you like cornbread stuffing, this is like my favorite way to do it, or some variation thereof. I usually use sausage. Chorizo was kind of a new thing, but hey, it works. So I would say 10 out of 10 on all 4 of these dishes, but let's see what Nash thinks. Oh wait, hey, I forgot. Hey buddy, happy Thanksgiving. We made all the sides you wanted. Let's start with the Chipotle sweet potatoes. Here you go. What do you think?
Creamy and sweet with a kick.
All right. How about these Brussels sprouts with bacon and maple bacon Brussels sprouts? Here you go. What do you think, bud?
Nailed that balance between sweet and savory.
All right. I thought this one sounded weird, but I think you might like it. Here you go. Pumpkin mac and cheese. What do you think about that one?
I think the pumpkin really adds that je ne sais quoi.
All right. Here's the last one. This is our chorizo cornbread stuffing. What do you think, bud?
Now that is what I call stuffing.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
We can only be said to be alive in those moments when our hearts are conscious of our treasures.
Nash approves, I approve. 4 great side dishes. I know there's tons you can make, but here's 4 ideas in case you're looking for an idea. They were all pretty easy to make, especially the sweet potatoes. Actually, they were all easy to make. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Spread the love. Speaking of love, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you wouldn't mind taking a second to like, share, and subscribe, that would help us out. It'd really mean a lot. If you want notifications every time we drop a new video, hit that notification bell. If there's anything you want me to cook, you want me and Nash to taste, drop that down in the comments, or head over to our website, website, timschaoskitchen.com. Send us a message there. And hey, just remember, cook more, eat better, embrace the chaos. That's it for now, folks. Happy Thanksgiving. Till next time, peace.